Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. We're back here this week again, continuing our series of building the perfect album. We're almost ready to close out not only the 1990s, but our journey in its entirety together. So we set out to go from 1965 to 1999, and we're fast approaching. We're at 1998 this week. I'm joined today by Rich Strickler. Thanks for joining us, Rich. We do a tandem video with Rich on his channel. We'll be doing the top 10 movies from 1998 as well. So if you click on the link down below to his channel, or even the video link that I'll post down below, you can also watch that as well. That'd be really cool. Doc, thanks for joining us as well.
Of course, guys.
He's a man up north who brings a lot of the Canadian flavor to us, which is good. Keeps us honest. And we learned some new bands along the way a little bit. So that's kind of cool as well. So what we've been doing the Perfect Album series from 1965 all the way through 1998. Just kind of, plugging along, trying to build these perfect albums is kind of a little bit of a rough task here in the 90s a little bit, because surprisingly, some years are really strong and other years are like really thin. And I wanted to get your guys' thought a little bit about what you thought about this particular year, 1998. What did you guys think?
I think it's very thin. I think that the further you go into the 90s, the thinner it gets for me. But younger guys like yourselves may have different opinions on that. It's just my own take on it. I find the music that I like is dwindling down a bit, and I have to look for stuff that I'm not real thrilled about. But 12 songs is 12 songs. You got to complete it. So,
Doc?
Yeah, I guess if I was to look at the 30,000 foot view here, yeah, it gets a little thin here as we move along. Other genres are really starting to come to the forefront, and where the music scene is, and they're starting to take over, charts and billboards and all these other things that they're creeping in. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not my sweet spot. It's not my neighborhood. I'm happy that as the rock albums or the rockish kind of albums come out, that there's things here in the late 90s that creep in with releases and singles that float into the following year and vice versa, that are going to really get me through the rest of this decade, to be honest with you. That I'm going to be stealing maybe one or two from as an album as we go, just because of timing. But I think overall, still some really good songs, I think, here as we get close to the end of the decade here as well.
Yeah, I felt like there were some songs out there that were good, but the vast majority of mine, you guys are going to find, are artists that I've discovered in the last few years. Because if I'd have gone by what I was listening to actually back in 1998, my album would have been horrific. It's terrible. So I'm like, wow, did I really? And I kept thinking, wow, did I really listen to that? That's terrible. Brian, what were you thinking?
yeah.
But anyway, our order tonight is going to be Rich is going to lead us off, and I'm going to go second, and Doc is going to bat some cleanup for us. And so be sure to check out our other channels, check out our Spotify list down below for links to the playlist, and please like, sub, and comment down below. That really helps keep us in the algorithm and boosts our video count quite a bit, and that's what we're kind of aiming for here. So Rich, you're on deck, my friend.
All righty. I'm going to start this off with Lenny Kravitz, Fly Away. I think this is a solid rock song for 1998. It's got a killer riff, some funk element to it. I like Lenny's voice. It's kind of uplifting. I believe it's used on commercials. I like to get away. I like to fly away. Very cool song. The guitar work in it's excellent. Like I said, and Lenny's voice just works for me. I think I know it's probably the most commercial song he's ever done, but it's also one of the best. So I had to put it as my lead-off track. My second tune is from John Mellencamp, who I keep going to. This is from his 15th album. It was self-titled album. And the song is Your Life Is Now. Another one of these Mellencamp timeless songs about seizing the moment, taking charge of your life, make the most of the time you have. It's a positive song. Anybody can relate to it. Your Life Is Now. Great song. And I still like Mellencamp in the 90s. I know he's mostly an 80s artist, but he's continued through the years, and long career, 15 albums. And that was 1998, and he's still going strong. So he's well into the 20s. very prolific kind of guy. My third track is an artist that I discovered in the last year or two, actually, Lucinda Williams, Right in Time, from her Car Wheels on a Gravel Road album. Country rock. I like her voice. She's a great songwriter. I like her lyrics here. She has that longing and aching in her voice that you believe what she's saying. It's just a well-constructed song, beautifully performed, and I think she's quite a talent. Lucinda Williams, Right in Time. Lots of good songs on that album, by the way. Fourth track is from Eric Clapton, another guy that I dig into my bag of tricks and pull out every single year I can. This is a song called My Father's Eyes. This was inspired by the fact that Clapton never actually met his real father. So he was either orphaned or grew up without a father. And his father died in 1985. This song was written after that in the 90s. Very emotional. Gives you a little goosebumps when you know the behind the scenes story. Of course, Clapton lost his son tragically in that horrible case of falling out of a window. And very, very emotional song here. I still think with all that Clapton has accomplished in his career, all the bands he's been in, the solo career, I think he's still unappreciated by a lot of people. So I want to make that comment because I really like his music a lot. I know he can be a jerk to interview and talk about, kind of obtuse, but his career stands for itself, and I like the guy. My number 5 tune here on side 1 is from the Cowboy Junkies, Canadian band, Doc. Miles. Yep. It's called Miles from Our Home, kind of alt country band. Margot Timmons, lead singer, lover voice, very melodic music, catchy chorus, things that I go for. And this is actually a band that I need to dive in more to. I like their sound, and I don't know their whole discography, obviously, but I probably should because I think I enjoy this type of music. And I'm going to end side 1 here, or side A, with a Bruce Springsteen song. This is off the Tracks box set that came out, which was outtakes, B-sides, unreleased material previously. It's a song called My Love Will Not Let You Down. It was recorded in the Born in the USA era in the 80s, but never released. So it came out here in 98, and I wanted to put it on the album. Typical Bruce song. It's a rock song. It could have fit into that album, but it wasn't quite as commercial as some of the stuff that went into Born in the USA. So it's going to make the album here an end side A.
Nice. Yeah, I like the fact you got into some Cowboy Junkies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their Caution Horses is a really good album by them too, and obviously the Trinity Session, which is what they're most known for back in 1988. But I'm glad you had that. And Lucinda Williams, that album is really good. So that's an excellent choice. Nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like.
It's very diverse. It's very diverse.
I kept the usual suspects with Springsteen, Mellencamp, and Clapton. Wanted to add some of those newer country or based artists, so that's what I did. All right, side B, a little bit different, a little more. It could be considered more poppy. I'm going to lead off with the Bare Naked Ladies, 1 Week, which we were talking about off camera. Very popular in the United States here, number 1 single. Alt rock, a little rap in it, pop rock. It's got a little bit of everything, and then those lyrics come at you a mile a minute. You need a lyric sheet to understand what they're saying, pretty much. Lots of pop culture references in it. It's funny, it's bouncy, rapid fire. Typical of what was going on, I think, in the charts back in '98. So I wanted to give it a little bit of acknowledgement there. I went country on my second tune with the Dixie Chicks, Wide Open Spaces.
Nice.
I like the Dixie Chicks. I'll be the first to admit it when they came out. I like that Natalie Maine's voice. I think she's got a really strong voice, a little blonde, and she really can belt out the tunes. And the 2 sisters behind her, one plays the banjo, one plays the fiddle. This is a song, Wide Open Spaces, about youthful independence and adventure and getting out in the world and the endless possibilities when you're a young female and exploring and that type of thing. It's a good song. My third track is from a movie, Goo Goo Dolls, Iris. It's a soft rock ballad. This came out of the City of Angels soundtrack, which stars Nicolas Cage, Meg Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Goo Goo Dolls fan, but I there's something about this song I like. It's catchy. And I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. That's the chorus that goes back and forth and back and forth. It's kind of catchy. The next song, Don't Laugh Too Hard. This is another one off a movie soundtrack, off the Armageddon soundtrack, Aerosmith. I don't want to miss a thing. I know
Wow.
but I needed a song, another power ballad written by Diane Warren. Aerosmith put their own little spin on it with Steven Tyler's voice. It was a #1 hit. In fact, I believe it's the Aerosmith's biggest hit single to date. So take it for what it's worth. I'm going to have to do those two back-to-back movie soundtrack things. My next one is Closing Time by the Semisonic band. Alt rock, again, power pop. I believe they're a one-hit wonder. And, you know, the title Closing Time refers to being in a bar. It's last call for alcohol. You know, go home with whoever you're going to go home with. That type of thing. American band from Minnesota. And the chorus is, I know who I want to take home. Wait a minute. I know who I want to take me home. There's lots of hooks, sing along, pop song. And I'm going to end the side B here, end the album. Alanis Morissette, Thank You, from the supposed former Infatuated Junkie album. Her follow-up to Little Jagged Pill. Another Canadian, were you, Doc? Alanis?
Yeah.
This is the video where she's walking around the streets sort of nude, if you remember, and she's got her hair covering her breasts, and they're sort of clouding out the lower region. And she did that as symbolism for being free and raw and naked and putting herself in vulnerable areas like a subway or this and that, and just being herself. So that's what I've got for my side too.
Very cool. I mean, I always thought that supposed former infatuation junkie was underrated. I even said that to the record company when they were they're tracking it. It definitely didn't do as well as Jagged Little Pill. No. And I said to the record exec, I said, it's just too smart for the American public.
Yeah.
The lyrics are just way too smart for them, and they're not gonna get it.
She's a very intelligent woman.
Yeah, I mean, she really is. I mean, and that album was really, really
good. Spin your head. She's really smart.
Yeah, she's absolutely. And now, of course, Dixie Chicks are only referred to as the Chicks.
I know.
You know, so drop the whole Dixie thing. But yeah, good list. I mean, all those songs, I can remember listening to them back in 1998.
Oh yeah, so, you rang off some, the Aerosmith tune, the Iris, and Closing Time. Those are three monsters, man. And 1 week was a big one too. So, you had some chart toppers there, buddy. Covering and buddy, that's 98, man, for sure.
That's what I was trying to do, and I think I accomplished it. They're not the greatest songs, but they do reflect that year.
Sure, they do.
All right, I guess it's my turn, huh?
You're swinging, buddy.
All right. So out of the gate for me, I took something from Garage Incorporated from Metallica. I took their cover of Bob Seger's "Turn the Page." That whole album was actually a collection of stuff they had done prior for Garage Revisited and some other material, and then they added on a lot of extra covers. This is the one that actually got radio airplay. There was a couple other ones I thought that were excellent as well, but they actually did a really good job on this. You know, I'm not gonna like shirk them too much for it, even though it's a Bob Seger cover. So number 2 for me, I've got from Placebo, their debut album. This song is called Pure Morning. Placebo, I think maybe we had conversations before. Remember what I said? It's like Depeche Mode up with cocaine. Just give them a lot of cocaine.
That's right.
That's the sound of Placebo. and I like it. It's kind of this really fast-paced indie emo rock type of sound to it. And it's got this really nice echo guitar. Brian Mokel is the lead singer, and he's got a really distinctive voice that just kind of sets in your head and you can't seem to get it out. So I included that. My number 3 song is from Everlast. He was a member of House of Pain, which was a Irish rap band in the early part of the 90s, and he went solo, and this one's called What It's Like. Nice little just actually a straight up song, and just in a kind of a rap spoken type of form to it. But it talks about various scenarios of living in the city and young ladies who get called a whore for if they got pregnant, or people getting
Yeah.
involved in drugs and stuff like that. Really nice song. I thought it was really cool, and it was interesting to see how they bleeped out the lyrics when it was actually on MTV. They did this weird scratching thing. It was so stupid. I said, just let it play. It's dumb at that point.
Yeah.
So number 4 for me, I've got 1 Week Here. Really, like Rich said it all. It's got that really fast-paced rap by Eddie, one of the lead singers in the band, and then it kind of offsets with the other lead singer, just straight up singing. I've always liked a lot of their material. That back and forth between those two always played really well with each other, and it was nice to see them get a hit with 1 Week. And like Rich said, they spent at least, I think, 4 or 5 weeks at number 1 on the charts. Just a massive hit for them. And they went on to have several more hits in the U.S. after that, so that really kind of helped them a little bit. Number 5, I've got "Freak on a Leash" from Korn, which is a new metal band. It was like I think "Follow the Leader" was their 3rd album they put out, but it was amazing when I went back and looked at them on Wikipedia. Their first 4 albums all went diamond. They all sold 10 million copies worldwide.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was really kind of surprised by that too. But these songs were all massive, very personal. This actually, "Freak on a Leash" is kind of a little bit more personal song, but it's other great songs on there too, like "Got a Life," and there was "Children of the Corn," which was a song that they actually did with Ice Cube, which I thought was really interesting. Back and forth metal with rap from Ice Cube was interesting. But I picked "Freak on a Leash." They later did an acoustic version of this with Amy Lee from Evanescence, and it was really good too. So, and closing out my side 1 is a trip hop band. My favorite is actually my favorite trip hop band, favorite trip hop album, Massive Attack. The album is Mezzanine. The song is Teardrop. Elizabeth Fraser was commissioned by Massive Attack to come and do some studio work with them. And while she was in the studio, she was given a note that said that her really good friend Jeff Buckley had died.
Oh.
And then she sat down and wrote these lyrics to the song, and I titled it Teardrop. And this is how the song came about. This is a really powerful song, really nice, even beat music and everything. Great album. And I wanted to include the song for sure, based on that little bit of information. So
Very good.
Very good.
I'll have to listen to that, Turn the Page, because I'm about.
You would have heard it before if you've ever seen the show House.
I didn't watch House.
It's the lead song at the beginning of House. It's the music that they played. That's Teardrop.
I'll have to research that, because I do like Bob Seger. It's one of his signature songs, Turn the Page. And I'm glad you had 1 week. I'm not on my own limb on that one, so that's cool.
I had no idea Bare Naked Ladies were that big south of the border there.
Yeah, for a while
they were for a little while. For a couple albums they were.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Turn the Page is really good. I mean, that's one of the better covers you're going to hear. It's a really good version, Rich. You're going to like it.
I'm sure I will.
They do it well.
Yeah, good.
All right. So side 2, I'm going to kick mine off with from the Miseducation of Miss Lauryn Hill. This is from Lauryn Hill. Everything is Everything. This album actually made it into the top 10 albums on Rolling Stone's top 500 albums of all time. I like this song. I like probably half the album, but I got to tell you, that's way overranked. I think the album maybe could make a case that it could belong in the top 200. The top 10, no, it doesn't belong there. But this is a really good song. I really enjoy the mixture that she does with her soulful voice. She has this really beautiful Anita Baker kind of sound to her voice that's really good, and she also mixes it with rap, so it's kind of a nice little change there. And speaking of change, I've got next song is Tupac from his Greatest Hits album. Actually, it's just Changes. It's got the piano riff that he basically interpolates from Bruce Hornsby and the Ranges. That's the Way It Is.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. So even part of the lyrics is, that's just the way it is. Some things will never change.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's really kind of cool that the way he did that, and it's probably as close to a pop song that Tupac Shakur has probably ever had. And it was actually very popular, so that's pretty cool to put it on here. Number 3, now I'm starting to get weird again. I've got Hole. That's Courtney Love's second album that they put out with her band Hole. It's called Celebrity Skin is the album name. The song is called Awful. The song is not, even though the vast majority of other stuff that Courtney Love has done. But anyway, really good song. Nice kind of indie rock sound that they kind of got a little bit of I don't know, Sleater Kinney mixed with the Breeders type of thing. I thought was really good, and I wanted to include it here. And the next track I have is from a band that's from Scotland, but the name of the band is Boards of Canada, and they're kind of a electronica glitch pop band. I can't explain it to you any other way. Glitch pop is kind of like intentionally making things sound like they're bad on purpose. You know, and it sounds like it's an old tape or something that's playing on, you know, or the TV's got, you know, glitchy film or something like that. But this song's called Roy G. Biv, one of the most interesting songs on there, and I like the whole album. Actually, I was given this album as a gift by the local record store owner when he found out how much of a fan I was of the album. So check it out if you guys haven't checked it out before. Check out Glitch Pop, kind of interesting sounding music. Number 5, I've got a little indie pop band called Bell and Sebastian. The name of the song is called The Boy with the Arab Strap. I won't get into what an Arab strap is. You guys have to look that all up on your own. And I'm not going to get into it on here in this video. But anyway, the song is kind of this nice little poppy tune that I really like. I think it's really just written in a regular 4/4 time signature. Just really nice ballady tune. I liked it. So, and closing out, I've got from Bernard Butler. He had a solo album. He used to be the lead singer from the band Suede, or in the States they call it the London Suede. He had a song called Stay on his album that I think is just beautiful, just an absolute beautiful tune. And I wanted to include that on here as well. So that's kind of my weird second side, guys.
Interesting. I have to know what an Arab strap is. So
go look that up on your own, buddy. I'm staying off of that one.
Make sure no one's looking over your shoulder when you Google that
one. Interesting.
Who was that last one, Brian?
Sorry, Bernard Butler, the lead singer from Suede.
Bernard Butler, yeah.
And it's called Stay. Beautiful song. And Teardrop, you know, it's just a wonderful song once you know the story. It's a great song.
Very cool.
Yeah, very diverse, lots of stuff in there, but you covered everything.
What year did Tupac pass away? Do we even remember?
Jeez. It was, I think it's probably before the Greatest Hits was even released.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they released a bunch of posthumous stuff after him and Notorious B.I.G. passed away. They still were releasing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What's it going to be, buddy?
I'll try to keep it in the Doc lane here, I guess, and we'll see if I do or see if I don't. I don't know, but yeah, a couple of curveballs for you, I'm sure. So I'm going to start off 98, man. This is a single from the Foo Fighters and the previous album from 97 that pops out. So My Hero is going to start off my album in 98, man.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a few albums here that carry over from 97 that had some singles that released in 98 that I'm really taking advantage of in one sense too, but within the rules, whatever they are, but they're great songs. So it fits me. My Hero is a great Foo Fighters tune, man. Maybe one of the more underrated Foo Fighters songs, you know, especially the build up into it. You know, it's the Foo Fighters, man. Just talking about everyday heroes everyday heroes in life. That's all the story behind it is, but it's the Foo Fighters, man. It's guitar driven. It's got the really cool bass line in it too. And the build up, the chorus is really catchy. You know, there goes my hero. Watch it. You know, it's a great
from Varsity Blues, right? It was on the soundtrack to Varsity.
Oh,
Blues.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Was it? So
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong starting off 98 with a Foo Fighters tune for me, man. So I freaked you guys out when I did this last time. So, but I've got no problem saying it now. So my second tune is a Marilyn Manson tune, man. I got no problem telling you. So. I like The Dope Show, man. I think that's a really good.
Oh man,
I think that's just I'm not a Marilyn Manson dude, man. I got two songs that I like, and this is one of them. And you've heard the other one before.
Two more than we got.
It's two more, but it's different. But this song is more of a rock song than anything else. This is not you know, the image is one thing of Marilyn Manson, but this is a rock song, especially that chorus, man. That chorus is catchy as hell, man. You know, lots of shots at Hollywood and drugs and everything else in this tune, but you know, it's, you know, a little bit of meaning behind it and stuff like that. But like I said, that life's so pretty. It's a great guitar riff, man. I'm a guitar guy. Sorry, man. Dope Show's coming with me in '98. That's what I can tell you. Man, I swapped here. So I got a song called The Scene from Big Sugar coming in at number 3. Like I said, I like my guitar-driven tunes, man. This is a really heavy, groovy bass line in this song, man. It's another Canadian band. It's a follow-up to an album that came out the year before, or 2 years before, that I already drawn a song from that year. Like this sound, man. It's a straight at your rock sound, is what I'm trying to say. It's I'm trying to think of like where I can place them with them. This is not pop rock or anything like that. This is a rock band. Once again, really cool groovy bass line in this one too, man. It's catchy whamming sounds and stuff like that, and it just sounds different. I'll tell you what I knocked out later, but in case you'll laugh at that. But Big Sugar's The Scene is the name of the tune. It's a really catchy, hooky tune, man. And great breakdown in the song as well. I got number 4 is going to be Shelf in the Room from Days of the New. This band had some problems, you know, as a lot of bands do, right? So I think it's their debut album. They have some really good songs on this album, man. This one came out in '97, but this one's a single that came out in '98. So The Shelf in the Room is what I would probably consider almost like an acoustic grunge sound. Yeah. I tried to think of a different way to say it. You know, these guys are, you know, from Tennessee, I think, and drugs and everything else really got a hold of these guys. But these guys could have been pretty big, man. These guys, they just ended up going to the wrong spots and jail time and everything else. And life goes crooked for people when they get to the wrong spot. They started really young. I think the guy was like 16 or 17 when he wrote this tune, and then got signed to a deal. Shelf in the Room, man. Really catchy. Like I'd say, it's a Southern acoustic grunge song is what I would call it. And if you can probably picture that or think about what that might sound like in your head, that's what this song sounds like. Really good, man. I got Lenny Kravitz, Fly Away, coming in right behind it, Rich.
Good man.
Yeah, I think you said funky, groovy bass line is what I have written down. I think that's something along the lines of what you said.
That's a killer song. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I've had a lot of Lenny throughout the years on my list here, and it's kind of maybe I like Lenny more than I thought, even when I said that before. And here he is again making an appearance. So
yeah,
and Fly Away, you're right. It's very commercialized, the song, and it's we all know the song. There's a real awesome meaning behind it. Just get out. I want to fly away. I want out of this. This is whatever this is. But musically, it's got that wow. You can. It's really cool sounding tune that I've had. So, yeah, Fly Away is really catchy, man. Fly Away to Given to Fly by Pearl Jam to end my side A.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you guys off camera there before we started, man. When you hear it, this is my favorite Pearl Jam tune, man. This is a great song. I know there's a lot of comparisons of, you know, going to California from Led Zeppelin on this tune and stuff like that. I don't care. This sounds awesome. I love the story. I think almost Eddie Vedder's telling this in the first person, to be honest with you. I think he's telling a personal story in this whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
This has a great build up, but I like this album's maybe a little underrated, man. There's a couple of tunes on this album I like, but Given to Fly is my favorite from Pearl Jam, and that's going to end my side A in '98.
Very good.
Well, how many albums did Days of the New even have? I have the debut album, but I didn't think they had any more after
I
that.
think they got 2.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
You remember the song then? You know, they probably had The Town, I think was another tune, which is pretty good. Yeah, something like that. Really catchy tune too, man.
And you're right. I mean, it was one of those ones that kind of showed up post grunge era.
Yep.
You know, a lot of bands did, like Silverchair and people like that, just kind of
There you
fell on
go.
those heels. That's a shame. That had pretty decent sound.
What
Yeah,
did
it's
they
a
go to
different
jail
sound.
for? Was it crime or was it drugs? What put him in the slammer?
The drug crime.
Both. Okay, they covered both. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, really unique voice too, man. So, like I said, it's a unique sound. I think if you listen to that song, Rich, you'd sit there and say, that's not half bad, man. That sounds like country grunge, I guess. I could see a mix of Pearl Jam and something southern in there for sure.
Yeah. Well, that was classic Doc with the emphasis on rock when you got the Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, Marilyn Manson. There you go.
Lenny
And
Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz. What a great song that is. I love that one. Very
Yep.
cool.
Okay, let's hear it. Number 2.
I'm surprised you guys didn't have this one. When I said we might have a trifecta, I thought this is it, but I haven't heard it from either one of you guys. But I got Day Sleeper from R.E.M, man. So coming in.
I would have picked Lotus from this album,
It's a good song too, man. It is.
but it didn't make my top 12. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Day Sleeper, it's just a story about, sleeping during the day because you're a night worker, but the story revolves around, what all people on the planet really have to go through to live their lives. And, not everybody's 9 to 5. So,
Yeah.
but it's very melodic and it's very, I think that's probably the right way to say it. It's an easy listen. It's melodic. It's got some undertones to it. I say this once in a while from different things, and here I'd probably say it's got almost like a Beatles feel to it as well at certain times. So it's this song as well. So but it's R.E.M. I still think I mentioned to you before. I wouldn't be surprised if they popped up again in the future, Brian. And sure enough, they made an appearance. So I do like the song. That's why I think it's top tier catalog kind of stuff for these guys. That's the top tenor for me from these guys. I got Poets from Tragically Hip coming in right behind it, man.
good song.
Yeah, it's a great tune. The album helped me out in '98 in one sense, but and '99 as well. So, but Poets is a great hit tune, Tragically Hip song. So you've heard the name probably throughout the years if you're watching this video and you've watched a few of ours. I'm a big fan of the Tragically Hip. Brian has a little bit of love for them as well, or a lot, to be honest with you. And I think Rich is starting to see the light here that these guys are pretty good, and he's gone board with a few albums I think of his own now. So
Yeah.
Poets it's Tragically Hip. It's Tragically Hip sound, man.
Yeah,
Still got that. It's hard to categorize what their sound is, really, when you think about it. It's still you got twangs of southern rock. You got twangs of countryish R.E.M. vibes. You can have a whole bunch of different things. Very unique sounding voice from Gordon Downey. I think that's something to be emphasized when you listen to them. Then Poets, the song itself, it's almost like a talk singing kind of song, and the meaning behind it could be many things. It could be about poets. You never know sometimes what Tragically Hip. It could be about companies, ripping people off. It could be about a whole bunch of different things. But the song itself is really catchy. And it's got that sound that I like from the hip, man. I think if you're listening to a bit of that, you'll like it. You touched on Alanis Morissette there, and so did you, Brian. Even when you talked about the album, I got the song "So Pure" from Alanis Morissette behind it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And now I like this song for Brian will understand why I like this song. Maybe in one sense, there I like the song from Sinead O'Connor, "The Emperor's New Groove," quite a lot. And this song gives me that vibe. Now, it doesn't sound like it, but it's got the same kind of vibe-ish to it. If you go listen to both, I think you'll know what I mean. But I just like the way it sounds. It's a straight at you love song, and you guys touched on it. This is lyrically a really strong album.
Yeah.
And she is an intelligent writer and intelligent on topic. She can do things. Drank a little pill. She was pissed off. This side shows a little softer side to her, I think, too. So, or she starts to crack and show a little bit more of those softer sides. And that's a good thing sometimes in music, man. So Pure. It's an easy listening, kind of catchy little hook in there is what I would say. Once again, man, it's the bass line that drives through the whole thing that just doesn't move and just keeps the chain going. I think that's kind of key to some tunes, and this is one of them. Not a big fan of this dude, but like Rich talked on, sometimes I just let music talk for what music is, and I put other things aside. I like the song "Only God Knows Why" by Kid Rock, man, and I like it a lot.
Rock, yeah.
Country rock, I'd say, probably at its best, almost in one sense, especially at this time. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if Kid Rock's telling a true story or not, but he's telling a first-person story, that's for sure, about what's going on in his life, or explaining what's going on, what we think in his life, but the build up in the song, and it's, I'm just sitting here. He's got that country side to it, and then it rocks out pretty heavy right towards the end, and it's. I always like the build up in the song. I've always liked the song, and no lies, man. If that's playing right now, I'm listening to that one and cranking it up. I think it's a really good tune. I got U2's "The Sweetest Thing" coming in at number 5, man.
Yeah, I was wondering if one of you guys were going to have that.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like a text recently, because I hope it did, because this is what I was referring to when I was talking about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was released as a B-side back 10, 15 years earlier by U2, but they went back, re-recorded it, redid it, tweaked it, and released it as a single here in 98. It's really just an homage from Bono for his wife for all the stuff that did happen during the Joshua Tree and how often he was never at home. But "The Sweetest Thing" is just, it's just a almost lullaby-ish, almost kind of underground undertone to it. And U2 is very good at that, and
yeah,
I like that sound. I can't get around it. So "The Sweetest Thing" is not like a musical masterpiece. I just think it's a very well written song. That's it's an easy listen, and once again, right in my neighborhood. The shock of the day for Brian, for sure. So the Scream 2 soundtrack came out, right, Brian? And I think you know where I'm going here, buddy. So Scream 2 is not a bad little follow-up to the first movie either, so I'll say that going in. But She Said by Collective Soul is going to end my album.
Yeah.
In 98. Got released here on the soundtrack. It makes an appearance on the album Dosage as a hidden song in 99, but we'll hear something different when we get there. But whatever the case, She Said is just an easy listening song with a lot of undertones to it. It's a sad story about a mother, what she goes through, and then how life can really be change for one person and how it affects another person, I think is right the way to say it, and stuff like that. But musically speaking, you can almost hear, we talked about this, or I talked about this before, Collective Soul gets grouped in as a religious group, or sometimes gets thrown in that neighborhood. You might hear hints of it and stuff like that, and you can probably pull stuff out of it if you wanted to, and you probably do it in this song as well. But it's really just about life, man. And She Said, I have Collective Soul is a big part, top 5, 10 kind of band for me in my life, and this is just one of their better songs, if you want the truth. Acoustically, there's great versions, and a great version on the home video, Home, actually is what it's called, with the Atlantic Youth Symphony. So
yeah,
really good tune. It's going to end at my 98.
I like the whole side.
Yeah.
I probably would have picked "Wasting Time" by Kid Rock, if anything, because it has the sample from Fleetwood Mac.
That's right.
That they use, I think, is interesting. I'll give you a side story on Kid Rock. When I was managing a radio station, he released his debut record was with an independent label, and it was the name of the album and the name of the single that was released was called "Yodeling in the Valley." And now take a moment to think about what he's probably talking about. And you're probably right, because and part of the chorus was a delicious alternative to potatoes. And I was like, wow, just how. And then I think of that album, and then I think that he came out with "Devil Without a Cause" not that much later, and I'm going, what happened?
What happened here, man?
I mean, he just went from terrible to that. I couldn't believe it. It was a monumental jump. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm knocked out that we got Yodeling in the Valley and the Arab Strap in the same video, man.
Got it in there. This is an educational video, everybody out there. It's educational.
We're gonna have to start rating these things.
little warnings before the video starts, all that kind of
Right.
stuff, right?
I like that side two better. That fits more my style with the R.E.Ms and the Tragically Hip and Alanis. You know, that cuts more to what I'm all about. I even like Kid Rock. I know he's controversial, but I like some of his tunes. You said before you don't know what you would call Tragically Hip. They're like a Canadian version of Americana to me. They write about the landscape and the people and things like it's like an Americana, but Canadiana, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and I they're a really good band.
Yeah, I would think if there was an REM north of the border, it would have been the Tragically Hip. That's kind of who they are.
Yeah.
So
even with those two comments, I feel good about the way I described them. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect actually. So any honorable mentions that we want to throw out there? I mean, I kind of struggled to come up with my 12. There was a couple that kind of floated in and out, but
I could tell you there's a song called That Song by Big Wreck that I had in the previous year that came out as a single in 98, and I had them in 97 with the Oath and stuff. But the song that I cut out, I think you guys should know, I did cut out Dracula by Rob Zombie. Because I think that's a pretty catchy, almost different sound, man. It's heavy, but it's almost got little techno kind of parts in there sometimes, parts of it too.
I mean, that's what he is. He's kind of an industrial metal band. That's what he is. I mean, love
and the homage to the Munsters car, man, that's pretty impressive too. So.
I can see Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson right next to each other on the album there, you know. Wild. I don't have any honorable mentions actually.
No, nothing for me really either. So anyway, I guess that'll wrap it up then for 98. I know that was, maybe a little bit longer than what we've been filming, but that's okay. We need to talk about some of these bands because we had such a diverse listening this time. I didn't even come close on a trifecta. I think Fly Away. We were, somebody about we had two. Lenny Kravitz, maybe we would have got one. So but be sure to check out the other videos, everybody, 1965 all the way through to the current date. Also, make sure you check the link down below to check out our top 10 videos for the movies of 1998 as well. That would be great. That way you can check out Rich's channel as well. Check out the Spotify list down below, like, sub, and comment, and we really would appreciate it. Thank you, Rich, for joining us tonight, Rich, and thank you, Doc, for bringing lots of crazy stuff to talk about. All right, everybody, we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Later. Bye.
Yeah.